And welcome everybody to another episode of the Pulse of Fins Nation. I'm your host, Louis Sung, and joining me as always is my co-host, Ron Caniff, who we finally got the pleasure of seeing back in his shades. We're back on the happy train, Ron. We finally won a game.
Yes, finally, after like a month.
Almost a month, yeah.
We spent almost a month thinking we were the greatest team in the history of the NFL. Then we spent a month wondering if we were ever going to win a game again.
Because that is the nature of Dolphins Twitter, right? It's a world of extremes. There's no true balance. It's always either they're the best team ever or they are the worst team ever. That's just kind of how things are.
It's the nature of Twitter, and then it's the nature of Miami Dolphins fans, and then you dare to combine that, like, bleach and ammonia, and you get Dolphins Twitter.
That sounds like you're gonna die. That sounds like poison right there. And by the way, Cap for Life, thank you for being the first comment in this chat room. We've got plenty of stuff to talk about, and we will get into all of it because there is, of course, plenty to discuss. But before
you do the prize picks, I just want to say thank you for being back. Hope you enjoyed your trip in Texas. The beginning of the show was an absolute cluster F because my mic went out and I was talking to people and no one could hear me. I was probably saying really stupid things anyway. But so I'm glad you're back because it was all falling apart without you for sure. And Alf was going to come save me, but it took about 15-20 minutes to save me.
Nah, it's okay, man. Listen, I understand technical difficulties happen. I appreciate the fact that you were here to hold down the fort in my stead. Things considered, but you know what? The show must go on, and it did go on, and so for that, I am very appreciative. So, thank you very much. I almost got you to do Behind Enemy Lines, but then life got in the way and said, "No, you actually have life stuff to do, so you couldn't do that one for me."
No,
it's like, hey, guess what? Life happens. Anyway, Dolphins Twitter reminds me of Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome, and their leader looks like Tina Turner. I feel like those are references that I personally do not understand.
I wonder who he means as the leader of Dolphins Twitter. Is he talking about Houts? Like Big E definitely does not look like Tina Turner.
Nobody. Some of the extra people that he talks to look like Tina Turner.
Look, we got some schmo in here, freaking trying to plug his own stuff. No, I'm just kidding.
No, I mean, yeah. So, by the way, anybody who's listening to this show, there is going to be a special edition of 3 yards per carry tonight, a trade deadline special. Because guess what? This is the trade deadline's coming up. We'll get into all that in just one moment. First, let's go ahead and get into our sponsor, which I know that we were stalling, but we're going to get into it before we get too far into the show. It is PrizePicks.com. As always, it is the revolutionary fantasy platform where you pick up to 5 different players across professional sports leagues. That's the NFL, the NBA, the MLB. It's one of each. It's totally up to you. I know the Marlins recently hired Skip Schumacher to be their new manager, so maybe changes on the horizon for the Marlins. Maybe you can choose the over or the under on those individual players' fantasy projections, whoever those players may be. You can choose individual stats, the classic fantasy point projections, and they'll even send you some freebie picks to take advantage of, like maybe Tom Brady throwing over 1 yard in a game, or maybe they'll even throw Sandy Alcantara throwing at least one strikeout in a game. That seems like a given considering how good he is. So how easy is that? With offers like that, it's hard to justify not signing up. So make sure you use the promo code 5, that's FIVE, and they will match up to $100 on your initial deposit when you sign up. There are no rollovers. You just send in the $100 and they give you $100 right up front to play with. So basically you're doubling your money right off the bat. So again, that's promo code 5, FIVE, and that's at prizepicks.com. We at 5 Reasons Sports are proud to have them as our sponsors. All right. So, is it true that the Dolphins? So already we're going to get into this. This is the trade deadline stuff. All this stuff coming in for Cap for Life. Alf already triggered something with that trade deadline talk. Your name has been a big topic on the panels today. Is it true that the Dolphins are interested in Broncos country? Your thoughts, sir?
Well, Alf's not on the show.
I know, right?
So maybe we don't even need to be here. We'll just bring the show up and let them just talk to each other, and we'll just watch. No,
exactly right.
I'm curious too. That's
Cap for Life.
If Alf wants to answer that.
Maybe one day we'll evolve the show to the point where fans can actually come onto the show for like a minute and just plead their case. That would be interesting listening to that.
Or we just do an AI show.
Yeah,
they just talk with each other.
And artificial intelligence. We already have AI generated art. I don't know about AI generated podcast hosting.
Yeah, you see the way my bed is made back here? That's abstract art. That's what that is.
Oh, is that what
I forgot to make the bed. I always make the bed before the show. Totally forgot.
And that's why I have like I remember somebody was saying, "Hey, Lewis, blink if you're in like you need help because it's just a white room." So in any case, but no, this is how it is. Let's call that abstract art too. It's minimalist in nature. It's minimalist art. There you go. So it's simplistic in its beauty. So as far as the actual comments, the fact that the rumor is that the Dolphins are interested in wide receiver Jerry Jeudy, who, of course, infamously played with Tua Tagovailoa at Alabama. And you, Ron, of all people, would probably know how much of an impact Tua had on the likes of Jerry Jeudy while he was at Alabama. How do you think this would work? Let's just play the hypothetical for vision, because this is actually trades and all that stuff. This is my favorite part of this of the NFL, because that's when I say whenever I play Madden, my favorite part is not actually playing the game. It's always fixing the roster, so to speak. I love doing that stuff. So let's just say hypothetically, we did decide to trade for Jerry Jeudy. We plucked him out of Denver. He's a happy camper now. How do you figure that would all work out?
I mean, obviously, as a Bama fan, it'd be nice to bring half of the foursome. That foursome being it was Devontae Smith, Henry Ruggs, Jalen Waddle, and Jerry Jeudy. So that would be cool for the nostalgia piece. But I've watched Jeudy play, obviously, as much as I can. Not as much as I watch Waddle, but I just haven't been impressed with him in the NFL in general. I understand that there was quarterback issues before, and now there's just problems with that team.
There are still quarterback issues.
Yeah, maybe there's still quarterback issues. Although, DK Metcalf was pretty good, with Russell Wilson. But I don't know. I don't. I mean, if we ship off Wilson, maybe.
Yeah, because Cedric Wilson has done absolutely nothing.
That's because he's not gathering the offense. And I think we're going to talk about this some tonight because there's some comments we're going to play. The wide receivers, I'm starting to realize now, read between the lines, wide receiver in this offense, it's a lot to learn. It's not as straightforward, and you're even seeing Hill doesn't quite have a full grasp of it. It's clear that Tua does, which is amazing because I've heard quarterbacks say this offense is very hard to pick up, and it seems he's picked it up really fast. But the wide receiver is tough because we see Eazy-E, like he can't even get on the field yet, and they pretty much said when he shows us that he has a grasp of the offense, he'll be on the field. He's still not there. Wilson can't seem to hardly get any snaps. We're playing Sherfield and Crawcraft a lot because they know the offense. This is clearly not an easy offense to learn for the wide receivers. So, you ship off Wilson, you bring in Jerry Jeudy, who's been kind of mid anyway. Like, I don't know. I'm not saying that second shot wouldn't be great. And obviously at Bama, Jeudy and Tua were a thing, you know what I mean? They were really good together, but I don't know. I'm kind of cautious on that trade.
And so, but where do you figure the midness, so to speak, comes in for Jeudy? Is it just because it's too complicated for him? Was Alabama very simplistic in their offense? I mean, where do you think it's coming from?
I'm honestly not sure. I won't claim to be an expert enough to know exactly why Jerry Jeudy has not been all that great in the NFL. I just know when I've watched him, there's just been nothing super impressive about him in the NFL. There really hasn't been so far, and it's been surprising. Keep waiting for him to just kind of get it going, and he's definitely hasn't been to the level of the other three. I mean, obviously Ruggs is no longer in the NFL, but Ruggs was already showing something right at the beginning more than Judy's ever shown us. Smith, I mean, Manny can attest to more than me. Smith has been phenomenal in the NFL, and obviously Waddle has too. And Judy's just been the one guy that it really.
He's the one bust in that foursome.
Yeah, I wouldn't even say bust, but I mean, yeah, maybe it could be that he ends up being a bust, possibly.
So now, part of me feels like is Cap for Life trying to be more of an instigator here because he seems to be talking about Deebo Samuel back. I'm like,
Manny, what's up, buddy?
Hi, Manny. What's up? Do you have words? You have words to speak?
Yeah, no, I mean, like real quickly on Mr. Jeudy. It just feels like the position that he's in as a player on an organization that just doesn't seem to know exactly what they're doing from top to bottom. It's kind of difficult for a young player like that to get going. Of course, you saw his speed in college. We see his hands. But without question, though, I think if you get him a much better offense with a much better coaching staff along with a much better quarterback, I think the Dolphins have something there, not to mention they play together at Alabama. That has to vouch for something. And I get it, right? SEC defense, college football, but still, though, man, if you basically add a Judy onto this offense. By the way, though, I'm not giving up in first round or second round pick. That's
no way.
Heck no.
That's not what we're
That's crazy.
Giving up pick is my issue here. I don't want to give up no picks.
No.
Like,
Maybe late third, maybe even a fifth.
You want Gesicki at this point? Go ahead. You want
I always think
go
that.
ahead.
Exactly.
You want Chase Edmonds? Go ahead.
Player for player, why not? Player for player, why not? So no, but I think that Judy in his offense would work. But the question is as well, is Tua healthy? Is he going to be consistent again? How he was in the first 3 weeks of the season? Those are questions that only he knows. So he's going to have weapons, but you still have to run the football eventually at a very consistent clip in this league. And so
except for Buffalo. For some reason, they can seem to produce massively good offense and never really run the ball. Yeah, because they have Josh Allen. You're right.
But I truly think, though, the Dolphins actually opened up more for other teams that play Buffalo in crucial games on how to be able to stop Buffalo, make them throw over, 40, 50 times, stop their running game. You know,
wasn't that always the case, though, with Josh Allen, that he wasn't the best thrower in the world, and now
he wasn't the best thrower in the world, but his deep ball accuracy.
He got better.
He is now.
Insane,
that guy can,
dude.
that guy can
better.
sling
I'm
it
not
now,
saying he didn't get better, but it's
you know
still
what's so funny though? When did Ken Dorsey get to Buffalo? Was it last year or was it the year?
No, this is this year because the ball went to coach the Giants.
Got you. Well, you know, whatever coach was that helped Josh Allen get that deep ball pass finally going is just.
It was.
Dorsey was the quarterback's coach, wasn't he? And then he got promoted.
Yes, he was the quarterback's coach. Then he came to FIU for 1 year, and then he went back up to Buffalo. So there you go. So yeah, listen, Judy just makes his offense much better, but there's still a lot of question marks.
But there's a lot of players that would make the offense better on paper. It's not. But here's the problem that I'm having already as we speak. Tua Tagovailoa basically only throws to two guys most of the time, right? He throws to Tyreek Hill. He throws to Jalen Waddle, and then if they just so happen to be open, he'll throw to Sherfield once in a blue moon, and then maybe he'll toss a screen to Chase Edmonds, who will drop the pass.
Edmonds, forget it. He's been getting to Gesicki more, though. Gesicki's been getting in on
only this past week, though. But that's the thing.
No, that's not true.
No,
not
man.
Just this past week.
No, Ron. Like up until Tua's injury, Gesicki had been invisible, and only after Bridgewater came in. And then Skylar Thompson,
2 touchdowns.
Yeah, well, he caught the one. But besides that one touchdown, can you remember anything else that Gesicki had done all season long?
Yeah, he caught 1 touchdown in the game against the Ravens, and he caught 2 touchdowns in the game against who was it? Minnesota?
Yeah, but that wasn't Tua.
No, I know it wasn't Tua, but I'm just saying Gesicki's getting in on the offense.
Yeah, he is now. That's what I'm saying. But you're saying that Tua's getting it to Gesicki more often now.
I'm just saying Gesicki's getting in more on the offense. I don't even like a trade swap straight Gesicki for Jerry Jeudy. I actually hate that. I don't think that's a good trade for Miami. Honestly, even though Gesicki's going to be gone probably at the end of the year. I just don't like that. I'm in it for now. I'm in it for this season. If they're making a move like this because they think it's going to help, in future years, I'm just not. I hate to be this way. I'm just not interested.
Yeah,
I'm all in 22. I'm all in for this team on 22. We thought the AFC was going to be so ridiculously hard. And yes, it's competitive, but I think there's a lot of teams that were doing so much, that we thought were going to be so much better than they are. And it just feels like, Buffalo and Kansas City are still the elite teams in the league. But beyond that, Miami's right there with every other team. And I don't think we quite thought it would be that way. I want things that are going to happen help this year. I don't think getting rid of Gesicki for Jerry Jeudy helps us this year. I just don't see how it does. Because then who are you going to have as tight end? You got Tanner Connor, can't catch it. Smythe is injured, doesn't run good routes. You don't have a tight end.
I don't think it's that he runs bad routes. He's just slow.
Yeah, exactly. He's just kind of slow.
It's not that his technique is bad. He's just slow.
Yeah, and we've even seen him get blown. And we've even seen him get blown out on some blocks. We've seen him get blown out on some run blocks, blown out on some pass blocks. Like he hasn't been this amazing blocking tight end, right?
No, but he's the best blocking tight end.
Well, that doesn't mean that he's good.
He is
because he's
good. I'm not going to sit here and say he's not good just because he gets beat a few times. He is a tight end. He's not an offensive lineman, so I expect him to lose a few times.
But do you think? But he's not. But generally, he's not. He shouldn't really be blocking for the most part, 1-on-1, like the defensive ends. The tackles are supposed to be doing that. He's supposed to be blocking linebackers and, things like that.
Right.
So,
but that's what I'm saying. If he ends up having to do that because somebody misses their assignment, Reichenberg. But so, and here's Alf chiming in. We thought Denver, Las Vegas, and the Chargers were going to be really tough. All three are garbage or injured. Yeah. So there is an opportunity. Okay. So
and the Colts, right?
The Colts didn't the Colts just bench Matt Ryan?
Colts are bad. The
Sam
Steelers are worse
Ehlinger?
than we thought they were. Cincinnati's starting to get it going. Let's be honest there. Ravens, they've got some good things about them, but they're not really what we thought they'd be.
The good things are Lamar Jackson.
We need to make moves that help us this year. I'm not down for any moves right now that help us in the future. It's opening up for us right now.
Well, I'm not saying make moves for the future.
This year.
I'm not saying make moves for the future. I'm saying make moves for now.
Well, Gesicki for Jerry Jeudy is not a good move for now. In my opinion, it's just not. I don't think it makes sense for 22.
Well, that's just the rumored trade right now. That's why I brought it up.
That's what we're talking about.
Yeah,
they're all rumored trades. We don't have any real ones yet. But
what about a pass rusher?
You talking about Brian Burns with the Panthers? I'm not willing
Eagles
to give up that much capital for that guy. No.
No. Okay.
No, I'm not.
What about Bradley Chubb?
And here's the problem.
Bradley Chubb, Denver.
I mean, here's my problem.
He paused.
Yeah, maybe that's a little bit more. I also think a running back that can catch out of the backfield.
No. Hold on. No. I saw the running back comments. I'm going to address that right now. Because everybody's talking about, we need a bell cow run. Hello, what has Raheem Mostert been all season long?
Not a running back for. We need a running back who is good at what Edmonds was supposed to be. No, catching the ball out of the back.
Catching running back.
Yeah, he's not as good at pass catching running back as many others in the league, and they could probably what we need, believe it or not, could probably be found on the cheap. Honestly, I don't think what we need at running back is going to cost us a first round. Like, we're not talking about CMC here. Like, that's gone. That's passed. We weren't giving up 4 or 5 picks for that. We gave up 4 or 5 picks for Tyreek Hill.
Mostert's proven it already.
No, he can't be. He's not an everything running back. I'm telling you, you start using Mostert on everything, running and passing, that dude's going to be gone by week 8. Seriously, like, he's not that guy. He's not a guy that you can give him, 20 carries and 10 catches. Like, that's not going to work.
Okay, but you don't. This offense isn't built for that anyway. Like,
Christian Wilkins for Jerry Jeudy. What?
No.
What is happening to this show, man?
This is the pulse of Fins Nation. This is
the pulse. Well, the
pulse movement.
I think we need to clear.
All the extravaganza gone wild. That's what this is right now.
Oh man, yeah. I like moves that help us this year. We need a back to catch out of the backfield since Edmonds can't clearly be the running back we thought. We need to keep Gesicki. We need some more pass rush. We need some more defensive backs.
That was brilliant, bro. For jury too.
Speaking of which, I have to actually find my envelope.
I don't even know what that means.
Bro, Dolphin fans are absolutely insane today.
Yeah, we're crazy. We don't know what to think.
Pulse of crackhead Dolphin.
I personally don't know. Is this just a durability thing that your concern is? Because are you really saying that Mostert can't handle it?
I don't think Mostert can handle too much. I don't think you can just make him the everything back every down. Just sit Edmonds, and Mostert is going to be the guy coming out of backfield catching the pass, and Mostert is going to be the guy taking all the carries. Like, that's just not going to work. Honestly, at this point, I know this is going to sound crazy, and I can't believe I'm saying this, but you need to just bench Edmonds and make Gaskins the replacement for Edmonds. Mostert is more, the guy you're going to give most of the carries.
But you're asking for that, though, right? You're asking for a pass-catching running back.
Yes.
Gaskin can catch passes.
Yes.
Savon Ahmed can catch passes. So who do we need to trade for?
Yeah, I'm just saying, if you're not going to trade for a guy, then stop putting Edmonds in. He's not getting it done. I've been complaining about Edmonds since week 1.
Yeah. No, but here's the issue, though. Edmonds got open, couldn't catch the football. When you have Gaskin in there, or what was the other name of the other player?
Savon
Ahmed.
The defense is going to know. Yeah, the defense is going to know that. And probably more than 75%, that's not going to be a running play.
See, I think with Gaskin, that's not going to be the case. I think with Ahmed, yes, I agree. It's probably not going to be a running play. But that's the thing what Edmonds was supposed to be. He was supposed to be a guy that you weren't going to know if they were going to run it or if they were going to pass it to him. I mean, now you know that whatever they do, it's not going to work. Because, like, for instance, everybody's dogging on McDaniel on that 4th down right? That fourth down play, like, oh, that was such a terrible call. No, it wasn't. Edmonds ran right into the middle of the line when the hole was to the left. If you watch the picture, like it was sealed. The dude's gone. If he beats the safety, it's a touchdown.
If Raheem Mostert runs the ball,
maybe
if
if you give it to Raheem Mostert, maybe he sees it better and he hits the correct hole.
He would hit the correct hole.
If he beats the safety, he's gone. I mean, I don't know what Edmonds is doing, but he's clearly not. There's some people that we've brought into this team that are not quite catching on to the offense. You can clearly see it. Obviously, Wilson's is one. Edmonds is another. Gesicki's had his struggles, but he's starting to figure it out a little bit. Yeah, but the blocking will always be an issue.
Ron, but what does dropping the football in the end zone have to do with you not knowing the offense?
That's true. I mean, it's just and on that, he's been pretty bad. On top,
that's the only thing. Chase Edmonds would be fine if he wouldn't. If he had caught
Edmonds has killed himself on having a larger contract with his football team. You catch 2 out of 3 passes, the records are probably even different. Like, are you kidding me with this? So no, for sure.
Okay, I got a little animated there. Sorry, guys.
No, it's fine. This is
you're good, man. I just want to make it real.
This is the kind of clip that we need to give to Ricky in 5 Reasons chat because he's
listen. If Chase Edmonds catches that football in Cincinnati in the first drive, that's a touchdown. You mean to tell me the Dolphins can't win that game? You know what I mean?
They would have won. I truly believe it. The momentum would have been entirely different.
Correct.
Everything would have been different. And by the way, speaking of trades, because we need to address this before we go on to other topics, because Alfredo was the one who brought it up. Stephon Gilmore with the Colts. He's got a $10 million 1-year deal left on this contract after this year. Gilmore is not necessarily the superstar corner he used to be, but he's a heck of a lot better than whatever the Dolphins have going on right now. The Dolphins just added Jamal Perry back to their practice squad.
Well,
how desperate things are when you're bringing back Jamal Perry, who's been on the street for God knows how long, because nobody else wants him. They did some tryouts
too. They did some tryouts too. Of a former New England. I don't know if I'm allowed to say.
Think about this.
I don't know if I'm allowed to say who they tried out today. I have to. Okay, sorry, I can't say it right now because I don't know if I'm allowed to.
Shall not be named.
He who shall not be named, a former New England Patriot, also tried out for the Dolphins today. So
it's like I don't. That's my whole point of this is because
Cap. You're not listening to you, Cap. Stop it. He's not.
No, I'm not. No, because if you want to talk about the Browns having 2 stud running backs, listen. Good for the Cleveland Browns. I personally, I don't feel the need to go get Kareem Hunt again. What does Kareem Hunt offer that Raheem Mostert does not? What does he offer? Pass catching? Again, Mostert catches the ball. I'm sorry. And by the way, Alf says you can say it. It's Malcolm Butler who tried out.
Okay, cool. Thanks, Alf. Yes, Malcolm Butler tried out. I wasn't sure. Okay.
All these players, man, they leave New England and get bigger deals, and they just don't pan out with other teams, man.
Dude. I mean, people,
especially when it's a defensive back, Butler.
Yeah,
my God, dude.
I know we're fresh off the loss of the beatdown of the Patriots at home by the Bears, but Bill Belichick knows how to coach some defense. I mean, I think he's been showing that most of the year. Last night being maybe a bit of a one-off, but the guy knows how to coach some defense. And many times we say, okay, apparently Cat for Life doesn't agree. And many times
he only disagrees with me.
We see a lot of these guys over the years. They go get big contracts somewhere else, and they're just not that great. They never have the impact they had in New England.
No, nobody. It feels like nobody does. Like, there are some players who will come out and they'll still perform to a certain extent. Kyle Van Noy wasn't bad with the Dolphins. It's just that he wasn't worth the price tag. I still would have kept him for what it is.
This is what Ron is saying, man. We
can't. Okay, but this is
25 plus touches in the
okay,
game.
But by that logic, though, we shouldn't let Tua play because he may not be able to handle it.
He's the starting quarterback. He has to play.
He's the starting quarterback, and Raheem Mostert is the starting running back.
Yeah, but you don't. But you rotate in running backs.
Yeah,
and a running back doesn't touch the ball every time. He's only in there because
the other running back can't even catch the football. Like, let's be honest here.
Yeah, like Edmonds. They did the short answer. The quick answer is Edmonds gets knocked down to third string, and you put in Gaskin for now. That's the short answer.
Bruce, be nice, man. Come on, bro. This guy.
He keeps calling him mustard. I don't know if that's his phone or if that's just him being disrespectful to Raheem
Can't
Mostert.
cut the mustard.
Like I feel like Raheem Mostert is seriously getting a bad rap here because it's like
I'm not giving a bad rap. I think he's great.
He's great. So why are we acting like he's the glass cannon?
I don't want him gone by week 9 or 10. We need him for what's hopefully going to be the playoffs. You know,
I have seen no indicators that Mostert is in any danger of getting hurt again. That's the problem. We let a guy get hurt. Like how much draft capital did the 49ers just give up to go get Christian McCaffrey?
Yeah.
Like he's a superstar. I get it. He's a superstar running back. How many times has he been hurt?
In the past? All the times. All the time.
And we are worried about Raheem Mostert, who got hurt, once?
Ron, have you traded for James Robinson like the Jets did?
Oh, man, that trade was nothing too. I'd have done that in a second.
Yeah,
what was it like? I kind of felt that as well. That if the
Dolphins would have had that on the table, they probably would have.
Yeah, I don't. We missed it.
Yeah,
no, that's a trade that on a team that could have used a player like that. That was a miss. That was a miss. Somebody either didn't like him or wasn't paying attention.
Again, I do not buy into this. This is my whole point, and then we need to get into some tweets because we've already gone half an hour. We haven't done any tweets.
We've been talking about Mostert for 20 minutes.
No, but you know what though, Ron? It's like the fact that we're even talking about we need a bell cow. A bell cow running back indicates that you don't want Mostert on the field.
Yeah, see, I've never
the bell cow
said
running
that
back is like 20. That's exactly what you're talking about. Bell cow running back, 20 carries a game, 10 catches out of the backfield. You're basically wanting what Derrick Henry is, what Alvin Kamara is, what Nick Chubb is. Like you want that guy. You want the guy.
What Kenneth Walker is.
And mind you, I wanted Walker. He was on my mock drafts in the offseason. I want to state that for the record. It's just what exactly
I am with you, bro. The trade, yes, injuries there and there, man, but the Jets didn't give up much to get him though. And there's an extra greenback.
There's nothing. See, that's a team that the Jets, if the Jets are operating as if they're in for 22, sure as hell Miami Dolphins need to be. Like they need to be making moves that are about 2022. If the Jets are, the Dolphins need to be. Let's come on now. If we're gonna make moves, make them for this year.
That's fine. This is Chris Edwards. If we need a reliable running back too, okay, fine. Can Gaskin do it? I personally feel like for what the role is that supposedly is missing in this offense, because Raheem Mostert, again, I'm going to say this again, it's not like speed is his only thing. He's been physical. He pushes, he shoves, he fights for every yard that he gets. If you're worried about him burning out a la Jay Ajayi, okay, fine, I get it. But this guy has not given me any indicator that he's just he's one injury away from never playing again. You know what I mean? Like there are a lot of players so far that we've had this season that we can point at and say, you know what, there may be an issue here. Well, I don't know why it's taking Byron Jones so long. That's one issue. And by the way, I personally feel like even though all that stuff is happening, I don't think he's going to be gone next year just because of contract issues unless they can trade him. I personally feel like there are a lot of players that you could point out and say, yeah, there's an injury concern there. But just because a guy gets hurt does not mean that you have to expect him to get hurt. Look at Teron Armstead. He's missed one game this season because of that toe injury.
Part of another.
Part of another, but he did play. It was aggravated, and that's why he had to leave. But then he came back. Like we were expecting Teron Armstead was going to miss at least 5 games this year.
Well, he could still miss at least 5 games. We still have 10 games left, right?
But he's still playing.
He could miss 5 games, but
he's still playing. And even with that toe injury, by the way, he is still at the top of the heap here as far as
to kind of round it off, so we can get some tweets. You're saying just make Mostert the bell cow running back.
I'm not saying make him the bell cow, but if you're talking about who's the guy they need to rely on, I'm going to say Mostert. Yes, because again, the whole point of this offense, what has this offense been most successful in? It's when Tua's throwing the ball, okay? Yeah. Like they run the ball just so they can set Tua up to pass. Which is not a bad thing. That's just the modern NFL. Mike McDaniel realizes that it's not going to be exactly like it is in San Francisco. Because who did he have in San Francisco? Jimmy Garoppolo? Please, give me a break. Like you're going to tell me that Jimmy Garoppolo is some superstar quarterback just because he was okay. He was pretty good in San Francisco. If you have a guy like Tua, that's like saying, like, again, if we're going to use the Drew Brees comparison, that's like saying, well, you have Drew Brees as your quarterback, but you're still going to hand it off to Kamara for 20 carries because you don't want him to throw the ball that much. No, I'm sorry. Like, you're going to throw the football because it's effective. Tua just needs to shake a little bit of that rust off. the drives that he had at the beginning of the game were fantastic. Those are the scripted drives. He started to fall apart a little bit. It wasn't like he was terrible the whole game. He made a few mistakes, but it's not like he was awful. He was the worst quarterback. So it's Go ahead.
Well, then, Lewis, in your opinion, you don't think the Steelers defense created anything like crazy out of the aspect going into the second half, trying to get him more confused?
Oh, I'm sure he was confused.
There were a lot of plays that pre-snap where they had Minka.
And
Minka, bro. Like
Tua even admitted it. Tua even admitted that
Minka clear best safety in the NFL. Like, it's not even close, dude. The guy is just sick.
I'm glad you said it because
clear best safety in the NFL.
Watch Minka's film, man. Like nothing.
Yeah, dude. The guy.
But you know what this tells me, though. You know what this tells me.
Roll Tide, by the way.
Ron, can I say this real quick?
Of course.
Can I say this about Minka real quick? Can I say this about Minka real quick?
But he's a little bitch. But yes, he is extremely good. Sorry, I was not going to let him completely
and there goes our monetization.
Oh well,
there goes the money.
Needed to be said.
All right, let's
anyway. No, I want to say this about Minka real quick. This just proves to me that it wasn't so much Brian Flores as it was what Brian Flores was representing in Miami at the time, which was the tanking. He didn't want to be part of a team that was perceived to not be trying to win.
I think he felt like that hurt his future contract. Like if he's looking at a rebuild of what he thought was going to take,
because Flores is there now, he's not having any issues.
Defense in 1 year, so he should have hung on. I wish he would have. But could you imagine Holland and Minka? Oh my god! Woo! But anyway,
who was Brock Marion teamed up with? I can't remember the guy's name, but it's killing me now. Brock Marion, and it was one other guy. He was there with the secondary.
Sean Wooden.
Wooden was pretty good. It wasn't he wasn't a superstar, but he was good.
But I feel like he was looking at thinking, oh man, this is a 2 or 3 year rebuild. It's going to be a complete crap show. This is going to hurt my future stock. This is going to hurt my next contract. I got to get out of here. I got to get with a more winning team. I think that's really why he flaked. I don't know that it was just Flores or they didn't.
No, that's
like
what I'm saying. Because Flores is there now. I don't see him having a heart attack and saying, "Get me out of here."
It was all about he was concerned about being on a team that was going to be bad for a while and his future earnings.
Brian Walker.
There's a name I wouldn't remember.
I wouldn't remember that either.
I mean,
Brian Walker.
All right, let's get to some tweets. What do you think?
Let's do it.
All right, so let's get some tweets in here because otherwise we're never going to get back into it. So I asked straight up, how's everyone feeling after the Steelers? Which, by the way, that was a long game. I was like, sleep was difficult for me. All right, so from Jeffrey Hamilton, who actually replied to Alf because Alf was the one who said that winning feels a lot better than losing. Hamilton replies and says, exactly. Are there things that concern me? Yeah, but there are things that make me think we're okay. Tua hasn't played in a few weeks. McDaniel will make better decisions. We will get players back. Improvement is needed, but this team stuck together and won. So again, yeah, resiliency is kind of the name of the game for the Dolphins. And I get it. I understand. So this is where this comes in. Tua, obviously, yes, he had some rust. He even admitted as such that he had some rust, that he hadn't faced real-time guys looking to really hit him at full speed, and that kind of messed with his rhythm a little bit. Okay, fair enough.
And the Steelers are a good defense. They're even better with Watt.
The Steelers are a good defense.
But they're a good defense. They had most of that defense back.
And Tua never, ever, like as far as I'm concerned, Tua never really makes excuses for his performance.
No, he was screaming at himself inside. You could see in that
he's harsh
interview.
Right.
He was mad, so mad at himself. Probably more so than he even needed to be.
Right.
Like McDaniel talks about how hard he is on himself. You could see it in his face, in his eyes. He was really tearing himself a new one inside. In his mind, he was really going after himself for not playing better in that game. He knows there was some misses.
Right. And so that's what I'm saying. He's never been one to make excuses for himself. So for him to come out and say that, yeah, the fact that I was not dealing with real-time speed, it kind of messed with my rhythm. I'm inclined to believe him because he's never been one to like drop the buck off to something else. He usually say that, yeah, it was on me. I missed that throw. That's on me. I have to get better. It was never some other outside influence.
He should have pulled an Aaron Rodgers and said, I didn't play good because my scout team wasn't prepared good enough to help me prepare. Remember when Aaron Rodgers said that? He actually blamed like the practice squad scout team that helps you prepare. Like they try and mimic the defense that you're going to face. Like Aaron Rodgers actually blamed that one time for them not doing good enough. Like, so he doesn't do that kind of stuff. He doesn't lash out and blame anybody else ever. Always himself.
And not other factors. It's not even another person. It's another thing. So again, he specifically pointed out, yeah, it had something to do with the fact that I hadn't been facing real speed for a while. So I suspect that against the Detroit Lions, that the Miami Dolphins are going to play a lot better because Tua's already had that moment of, okay, I'm back, and now let's get back into a better rhythm.
Their defense is gash, man. Oh God, that should be a nice matchup for Miami. Miami has to be able to take advantage.
Oh yeah, well, I mean the Lions are terrible. Like they had a really
their
good
defense
offense.
Specifically is really terrible.
Okay, listen. Okay, look, I get it. They had a really good offense. They were top of the league. They were top of the line for a little bit,
for a little while.
And then Jared Goff went back to being Jared Goff. Okay,
he did.
And
Jared Goff plays terrible against.
Am I supposed to be scared of Jared Goff? Seriously, give me one reason why I should be scared of Jared Goff.
I don't have
any.
No.
So anyway, next tweet, por favor.
And scene.
So heavy is the crown. Coach showed he still has some learning to do. Tua was a bit off. Pitt didn't allow any yards after the catch. It was a depleted secondary. The Finns won, and a win is a win. Welcome back, Ron. I don't know what happened there. So yeah, here's the other thing. McDaniel obviously made some decisions that didn't work out for him. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to echo what you said. I didn't really have an issue with the decision itself to go for it. I definitely had an issue with the play call.
It wasn't a play call issue. The hole was to the left. Just run it to the left. You might score a touchdown.
Yes. You know what? You're right. Yes. Let me rephrase. I had an issue with the personnel decision.
Yes, they should have had Mostert in there. I agree. That should have been Mostert. With that,
if you're going to run the ball,
as poor as Edmonds has been this year. And as I know what they were trying to do. They were trying, you know what? Screw it, Lewis. I'm with you, bro. Let's just do it. Mostert, let's just ride him to the ground. I don't care. Because if the whole game you're passing the ball to Mostert and you're running with Mostert the whole game.
And it worked.
You can put in Mostert and it doesn't give away what it is. They're trying to trick him. They're trying, we'll put in Edmonds because he's our pass catching running back who doesn't catch passes. And they'll think we're going to throw it and we're going to run it and trick them. But either way, the play works if you just run to the left. But if Mostert's in there, he likely sees that hole. He knows where it's supposed to go. He sees that hole.
So, yeah, and that's my thing. Either you either give it to Mostert or alternatively, and this is something that we haven't utilized a whole lot, even though we totally should, hand it off to Alec Ingold.
Yeah.
Hand it off to Ingold. Like that's what he's a fullback. He's not just there to block. He can run a little bit too. Like get a short yardage, 4th and 1 type deal. Heck yeah, I'm taking that. Alec Ingold just busted up the middle. Perfect. Done.
There was one last thing on that tweet. He mentioned something about our secondary. I think he might have said depleted.
Yes, it's depleted as all get
I just want to say something to the Buffalo Bills and Ravens fan. You can be down to your 6th and 7th cornerback and still win games. Just saying, Buffalo.
Well,
just saying.
And by the way,
but you know what? I forgot the sun was hot, and we didn't have to worry about that because it was Sunday night. Yeah, that's why we won because the sun wasn't hot.
Yeah, and by the way, they still had Josh Allen, so I don't want to hear complaining, like for real.
Yep.
All right. So next tweet, let's see what else we got here. Because there were a lot of reactions. Like there were some people who would just straight up say, no, I'm not interested. William Varner, encouraged by how our backups on D are fighting. Our offensive line protected Tua well, and our drive-killing penalties were minimized much better than last week. Oh, my God. A little concerned about our lack of touchdowns. We need a big body receiver in the red zone to go with Mike Gesicki. Okay, let's go into that real quick. Big body wide receiver. First of all, that sounds like Eric Ezukanma. That's just me. But again, for obvious reasons, he's not in the game yet. I think part of it is not just because that he doesn't get the offense. I think that's part of it. The other part of it is that Sherfield and Craycraft are proving to be reliable people. I don't like Eric Ezukanma. Yeah, he could provide a Gesicki-ish type target. He's definitely plays bigger than he actually is. I mean, he's 6'2". It's not like he's small, but he's not like Preston Williams type of size. With that being said, though,
is Preston Williams available?
Just kidding. I wonder if he is. He isn't, and I personally don't want to bring him.
I'm pretty sure. I think we'd know if he was picked up.
I'm pretty sure he's available. If they really were interested in him, they would have brought him back by now. So he's like gone.
We used to have this one guy, Devade Peaker. I forget his name.
What? Are you talking about Calvin Johnson?
Parker.
Oh,
yeah, that was Devontae Parker.
Okay.
Did we trade for that guy? What's he doing?
Okay, I see what you're saying. Okay, yeah. I mean, listen,
I heard
he's had a few good games.
Oh yeah, he's not coming to Miami. He's got that top 100 Pro Bowl quarterback, Mac Jones. Oh, that's right.
Oh yeah, the one who got rotated out with Bailey Zappi. Yeah, I mean, whatever, man. Listen, like, here's the thing. Like, this is interesting discussion because Jerry Jeudy wasn't that guy in Alabama, was he?
What do you mean?
The big body, go up and get it.
No,
okay.
No, but Tua always plays the football to create yak for him.
Oh yeah, that's the way that was the entire Bama offense.
That was the entire Bama
right. So
offense.
he doesn't fit.
Throw it 10, 12 yards and run it 80.
Correct. In front,
everything crossing in the middle. That's one thing to
talk
about too.
It wasn't a Julio Jones type of body where he's going to go up.
No.
So that's what I'm saying. I don't think that Tua is necessarily looking for those types of guys. He's looking to fit it into tight windows, which most of the time, again, when he's not coming off his 2-week hiatus, like he's pretty good with that. There were a few throws that obviously he missed. Not even that he missed his receiver. He missed where the perfect placement would have been. That Jalen Waddle, a big time catch where he had to leap up and catch it. It was a big play. Could have been even bigger.
Yeah, but Louis, I have also seen Jerry Jeudy this season, and then in the short passing game with Russell, if you contact him in 10 yards, 12 yards around that range, and you hit him hard, he's not gonna catch the football. He's not. Like, he has to be in space.
He has to be. A lot of receivers are that way, though. Okay, like a lot of receivers, you catch the ball and you smash him right as he catches it.
Man, that stick from Minka on Mostert right by the end zone. Ooh.
In other words, Louis, I don't trust Jerry Jeudy to run a slant.
Right. So there we go.
He catches a football.
So that's what I'm saying.
That's what he lived
the mold of the big-bodied receiver. Now, here's the question: do we really need a big-bodied receiver?
Hey, come on, man.
No, that's what I'm saying. When you can't bring your specialty in the NFL and you got to find another avenue to play, that could be part of his problem.
You're wrong, because those players in college can do a 5-yard slant and take it 80 yards. You can't do that.
Of course,
in this league. Like, it's not going to work.
So. All right.
Sorry.
Go ahead. Let's get another tweet in here, Manny, please. All right, because again, there were a lot of tweets, and we've been neglecting them these past few shows. I really want to be able to get back into them. Referick says that we can put together our worst performance offensively and still win. Speaks volume about what this team can be. That's an interesting point, because the last few times that the offense has started to kind of fall apart, the defense really steps up. Now, what I really want is for at least one game where the offense is firing on all cylinders and the defense is at the same time too. It always feels like it's one or the other.
Yeah, we haven't. I mean, they talk about us playing complementary football. We have, like, in spots, like for like a quarter or maybe part of the half, but we haven't taken a whole game where we played true complementary football, where defense is what they've been the last couple of weeks and offense is what it was the first few weeks. We haven't seen that yet.
Can I pitch something to you? And let me ask you what you think about it. Is it possible that this whole time the defense has been just as solid as we think it is, but when the offense is humming, we just don't notice that the defense is playing that well? And then when the offense starts to fail, we start to notice how good the defense actually is because they're the ones keeping us in the game? No,
I think they just stepped it up last week against Minnesota and continued that this week. And they'll continue it too, because there's nothing Miami does better than making bad quarterbacks look bad. And we got kind of a stretch of bad quarterbacks coming up, right?
Yeah.
So we're gonna. That defense is gonna
Jared
continue.
Goff,
The offense,
Jacoby Brissett. Davis Mills in Houston.
Yeah,
I mean, he's not bad. He's not bad.
Yeah, Davis Mills might be the best of the next.
I wouldn't call him a franchise quarterback.
Davis Mills is throwing interceptions against triple coverage in week 6 of his second NFL season in his career. Pass.
So basically, don't be scared of Davis Mills.
Well, I'm not scared of him. I'm just saying.
Yeah, nobody really scares me per se.
Apparently, Manny believes he's more terrible than we do, but I don't think he's good.
Man, listen, Ron scares me, but I haven't been honest in 6 weeks.
Yeah. Nice. I scare a lot of people, mostly children. All right, God, next tweet.
I feel like there's a story there. All right. Underwhelmed, just all part says. Okay, underwhelmed. See, this is what I'm talking about when the reactions are all across the board, because some people are like this guy who basically says that, you know what, I'm not particularly thrilled with where the team is at this moment. They feel like they should be better than how they've performed. And I can understand that, wanting to hold them to a higher standard, because there are times when they've looked absolutely unstoppable.
Yeah, we're a good team. We should hold them to a higher standard. But we shouldn't be in the same situation where we're, oh, gee, somehow maybe we get lucky and win a playoff game. Like, I just feel like, I just don't feel like this is that team. You know what I mean? Now, they may end up being that team, but I just don't believe that to be this team. You know, so I hold this team to a higher standard than I hold other.
So
Dolphins
are you also
teams.
underwhelmed with where the Dolphins are right now?
This past week I was underwhelmed by the offense. Thought the defense was great.
But as a team, but in the team as a whole.
In the team as a whole, am I underwhelmed? No,
like you're basically be like, you know what, I'm disappointed. We should
because
be doing
it's
better.
A new coach and we're 4-3 and we've had some tough games. No, I wouldn't say I'm underwhelmed overall. I'm optimistic. I'm pretty happy as long as we keep building on it. Now if we continue this kind of back and forth the whole season where we look unstoppable and then we look like we can't do anything and then I'm going to be then I will be truly underwhelmed. But right now I don't think overall I'm underwhelmed. I was underwhelmed by the offensive performance, but there was that we could see most of the reasons for that. A little bit of it was rust and I can point to at least 3, maybe 4 times, and I think 3 of them were Hill, that he didn't run the route right. That's what I'm saying. This offense it must be difficult for wide receivers to really pick up on when they're supposed to be, you know, kind of stand put or slow down and just kind of stay in the area, and when they're supposed to just run through the route. Because both the quarterback and the wide receiver have to both be on the same exact thought process there. They have to be. And you saw a few times, like Hill has a touchdown on that one play where he he's like reaching to catch it, but it was his fault. He slowed down. The ball was exactly where it's supposed to be. If he takes, and I actually tweeted it 30 minutes after the game, if he takes it and just keeps running, we had just these few little missed opportunities that kept us from being more of a route. Like what was 16-0 should have been easily 16-10 should have been more like a 30-10 game. Edmonds needs to hit the correct hole on the 4th down call. Hill needs to run through it, or they need, a lot of that.
Tua needs to hit Jalen Waddle in stride
and Tua needs to hit Jalen Waddle in stride. You could probably count like 3 times where he missed huge opportunities. And then that one to Mostert, we ended up kicking a field goal on it where it was right at the goal line and he dropped it. I mean, there was nothing wrong with anything we did. Minka just, Mostert got Minka'd. You know what I mean?
Sometimes
was an amazing.
The other team just makes a play. Not much you can do about
it. That was like the textbook. If you were going to show, I hate that I'm bragging so much on Minka because it really makes me mad what he did. But I would think if you were trying to show a textbook example of here's how you here's how you still stick people in the NFL in 2022. Like this. This is where you hit them. This is how you hit them. This is how everything should be. Because man, that's that kind of stick you don't see anymore in the NFL. But if you go back and watch, he did it exactly how they want you to do it right now.
I'm just gonna say this: if Minkah Fitzpatrick, even though it was textbook, I feel like that if that had been like a quarterback that he had hit that way, he would have absolutely been flagged to hell and back.
I don't know. I think if that quarterback's running 10 yards past, I don't know about that.
Who got flagged for tugging on Trevor Lawrence's jersey a little bit? Like, not even knocking him down. He got flagged for roughing the passer for pulling on his shirt. I refuse to believe it. I refuse.
I understand.
He hits the guy like that, he's gonna get flagged and maybe thrown out of the game.
Yeah. Quarterbacks, obviously they're going to protect them more, especially when they're back in the pocket, because they're like a kicker. They're vulnerable. They're not in a good spot to take an impact. I think people keep forgetting that too. Like when a quarterback is back there, standing back there in that position, throwing the ball.
Lawrence's
yes,
jersey.
I agree. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying why they protect them more. There are reasons that they protect them more. They are in a more vulnerable spot than somebody running, bracing for the shot. A little bit like a kicker. They're in even a more vulnerable spot back there. That's why they protect them so much. Some of it is just ridiculous. Yes.
All right. Let's do one more tweet, and then we'll get into the NFL topics for the night. So that way we can get Manny his segment. All right. One more tweet. Let's bring this to to a brief close here as far as the tweets go. From Ricardo. Lewis, glad we got the win, but concerned about the performance of the offense for the last 3 quarters of the game. Very stagnant. Okay, yes, like we've been talking about so far, it was stagnant. A lot of it was rust, just missed opportunities, lack of execution.
Yeah, there was just a few mixed opportunities. I think
that's just what a lot of it is bad luck.
Like and the Steelers, man,
they making plays.
The Steelers made plays. They closed the middle of the field, but they gave us opportunities, and we just didn't take.
And there were a few times, Ron, where if he had just broken one tackle, if the Steelers just hadn't been that solid about it, they would have been long gone for touchdowns.
They were solid. I would be nervous. I'm glad we already
individual
played the Steelers. I'm glad that the Steelers game is behind us. I kind of feel like if the Steelers in the weeks coming are probably going to start to figure things out. I think the thing that's holding them back, this is not a Steelers show, is they know they're not playing as of right now their best quarterback. I understand that Trubisky is nothing great, but Mitch Trubisky, he as little offense as we scored, maybe he wins that game for them in like a 17-16 situation.
I would agree with that.
Yeah, I mean, we were playing a rookie quarterback in his 3rd game or something.
I feel like Trubisky, for all his
yeah, he's probably still a little better, but I understand why they made the change. I get why they made it. But I would still not really want to play the Steelers over the coming weeks, and especially once TJ Watt comes back. Look for them to be a team we're competing with towards the end. That win may really come in handy, right? That head-to-head, maybe it comes in handy. Maybe we end up with the same record as the Steelers fighting for a wild card.
Yeah, that's very possible.
And that win against the Ravens might come in handy if Cincinnati wins the division. Like, we're not winning I hate to be this way. We're not winning the division unless something happens to Josh Allen, right? We're not winning the division. That's Buffalo's division.
Thank you.
So we're going to be fighting. So if Cincinnati wins the division, we're going to be fighting with the Steelers, the Ravens.
I am not a believer in Cincinnati, Ron. I know their defense.
I know
their defense hasn't given up a touchdown in the second half, but I truly do feel though, if you have a good pass rush on Joe Burrow, man, he's not going to escape the pocket and make plays, man.
I don't know, but he got sacked more than any quarterback like almost ever last year, and he went to the Super Bowl. I mean, he even got sacked in the AFC Championship game. He got sacked 8 times. But
let's have a quick conversation on that though, because the whole division was injured. Lamar got hurt. The Browns weren't the same. The Pittsburgh Steelers were going through a whole drama hiatus with Ben Roethlisberger as his final season. Come on, man! Like you have to bear witness to that.
They beat maybe the best team
against Ryan Tannehill, and he's throwing damn pick six. He's throwing interceptions inside the red zone.
But they beat Kansas City they beat Kanssus City twice. They beat Kansas City at the end of the season.
Kicker
and in the
Pearson had more points than he did. Come on, Ron.
I hope you're right. I don't want Cincinnati to be good. Trust me. Plus they got a win on us. So I just think unfortunately they're back.
Listen, you guys almost beat them without your starting quarterback. Let's be fair here.
That's fair. That's fair. That's fair. I believe that Burrow's probably back. I hope I'm wrong. I hope you're right, Manny.
And by the way, Cap for Life's asking, how did somebody get rusty in the second half of a game? Because the first 2 drives were basically scripted. That's why. And when you do that, it's just a matter of
that is very true. That people seem to forget that as well, though, right? That's why you really know how a coach is going to succeed if second half adjustments start happening and they start actually if it starts clicking, then you got to give really more credit to that, because anybody can script the first 20 plays of any offense. It's quite clear. So, no, for sure.
Yeah. So we'll go ahead and let's get into our NFL topics, Manny.
All right, boys. So 2 quarterbacks we have seen most of our lives from beginning till not end yet, but Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady are having quite a time right now in the National Football League. I don't think I've ever seen 2 quarterbacks probably what can we say? One is maybe top 3 or
do you really want me to go into the discussion?
No. My whole question to you is which one of these teams is more in trouble with their quarterback? Is it the Green Bay Packers and Aaron Rodgers, or is it Tampa Bay Buccaneers and Tom Brady?
I mean, just for the sake of, let's say, overall talent, obviously it's the Packers who are more trouble because Aaron Rodgers doesn't have the type of talent to back him up that Tom Brady has. But as far as which quarterback is in more trouble, I got news for you, ladies and gentlemen. You're laughing. You know what I'm going to say.
I know what you're going to say.
Giselle has put a hex on Brady, and the immortality spell that was on him all this time has withered away along with their marriage. And it's
I kind of feel
joke.
like
not even a joke, man. She literally said that she's like a white witch. I'm like, what kind of voodoo nonsense were you doing this whole time? Are you really the reason that Brady's been unstoppable all the way into his mid 40s? Like this,
that is some magic. Okay, I won't say it,
bro. Like don't
want to do that.
Brujeria is a thing, bro.
Come
you
on,
never
man.
know.
We are public.
Hey,
Ron.
you know what? If
What
Giselle
you doing?
Bundchen broke up with me, I'd probably have some struggles at work too. That's all I can say.
Like Alf even said it. Giselle calls herself a white witch. I'm like, what are you?
Did Tom Brady
you...
finally hit a wall? I mean, we've counted that guy out.
It's
like,
a wall
I've been counting that guy out for a
Giselle.
decade, but did he finally hit a wall? Yeah,
Like,
Alfredo just said she calls herself a white witch.
That's not a joke. It's she takes it quite seriously. She takes it quite seriously.
Yeah,
like you think
I don't know.
Nico Grimes was? Oh my God!
Let's not talk about her. Maybe we should have her on the show.
Yeah. Please.
I'm joking.
Can we pull Brent Grimes out of retirement? I'll take him at this point.
That is not a good idea.
Hey, we have Houts to thank for getting rid of her off Twitter.
Hold on, we should get Antonio Brown on this show.
Oh,
now that will be up the post.
Do you think maybe he keep his clothes on though?
Well, yeah, probably not. All right, guys. So question number 2. Dak Prescott returned for the Dallas Cowboys after this whole, maybe saga / backup quarterback controversy, whatnot. But also, as we also saw with the San Francisco 49ers, they traded what they did for Christian McCaffrey, and they didn't really have a good showing either. Not saying, listen, the Cowboys won, but let's be fair here. That defense just absolutely took over. Which one do you think will actually improve their football team going forward? Is it Dak with the Cowboys, or is it Christian McCaffrey with the Niners? Of course, simple answer would be, oh, Manny, what are you talking about? You're an idiot. It's the quarterback. Did you see Dak Prescott week 1? Did you see Dak Prescott on Sunday?
Yeah, he hasn't looked
Amari
great.
Cooper, their tight end situation, you really don't know. And if you stop the running game on that offense, it's going to make Dak Prescott, the $40+ million man, he's going to have to throw the football, 30+ times to actually win some games. So who do you think is actually in a much better position to actually have a more successful season? Dallas with Dak or Christian McCaffrey with the San Francisco 49ers?
I'll let you take this one, Ron. I already did the other one.
I like the Cowboys more. By the way, I don't like the Cowboys at all, but I think the Cowboys a little bit more, and that's mostly because if all things were equal injury wise right now, with San Fran's defense is beyond beat up again. So in Dallas's defense is a Super Bowl caliber defense.
Don't forget about the Niners. I understand they didn't have a great showing against Patrick Mahomes. I mean, which defense can have a not good showing against Patrick Mahomes? But you got to give credit to that Niners defense. So they were number 1 of the first 6 weeks.
Yeah, they were good at that, but they're so beat up right now. So they'd be my concern. I feel like Dallas is going to continue to win as long as their defense stays healthy.
Listen, we better hope that
Dak will get it going.
We better hope that Christian McCaffrey doesn't do much for the 49ers. Dolphins currently picked 12th in this draft. Thank you, San Francisco. So
yeah,
I need Jimmy Garoppolo to keep Garoppoloing.
I understand they're 3-4, but we all know that in a week NFC, San Fran's probably going to figure it out. And for me, that pick is. That pick is tradable. Pick is tradable right now.
I'm hoping that there's still some voodoo left from New England that says that Jimmy Garoppolo is just gonna screw it all up. Okay,
maybe we'll see. I have a feeling that San Fran's gonna eventually get it going, but I know the Cowboys defense is really. I mean, you know this, Manny. I'm sure you pay close attention to them as an Eagles fan. That defense is serious, man. And they're healthy right now.
Dan Quinn has done more miracles for that Cowboys.
He's fantastic.
Defense.
He's a great coordinator.
But what I think we also found out, though, is how to exploit a pass rusher, right? I mean, Lawrence Taylor, say what you want. If you wanted to run at him, you couldn't. If you wanted to pass protect against him, you rarely could either. With Michael Parsons, the way that, this NFL is nowadays, you can actually scheme around that, and you just basically create this running style gets going right at him. You know what I'm saying? So it's beatable. But, of course, you got to have an offensive line. You got to have a running back. And you got to have an offense. And that's very rare to find in all aspects when it comes to any team in this league. So, no, for sure. All right, guys. So, final question or the final talk we're going to have here. I'm going to be honest. I've watched the New York Jets ever since they beat the Miami Dolphins in the last 2 weeks and won. Yes, impressive wins in Denver. And the other one was it impressive win in Pittsburgh or whatever. Yeah. I just don't see a scenario where Zach Wilson all of a sudden emerges and creates better opportunities for his team. I just don't see it. I think the Jets offense was all on Hall. Listen, I hope he has a safe recovery. That man was everything to that offense.
Yeah.
Garrett Wilson is nice, but their offense is just too inconsistent for me. And last night, the Patriots, I don't think I've seen a more dismal performance from the Patriots since probably last year in a couple of games. I truly feel, though, that if the Miami Dolphins just get their SHIT together, right? And if Tua the Dolphins have a perfect opportunity here to actually take over and become second in the division. Not saying they can't be first because of Buffalo, but listen, by the way, you already beat them, so that actually helps you. But do you guys believe overall that, listen, in a positive thinking scenario, can the Miami Dolphins get to that number 2 spot in this division or number 1 if Tua can get back to what he's been doing the first 3 weeks of the season?
Because Tua gets back to what he's doing in the first 2 weeks,
and I don't believe in the New England Patriots model on offense, right?
Manny, I think honestly that's a question that's easily answered. Yes, in fact, they will be at least second in the division if Tua gets back to what he was, because again, he was playing at an MVP level player, and I don't trust Zach Wilson, and personally, I take personal enjoyment out of watching the Patriots flounder, but that's just me. I'm still hoping.
Don't we all?
I'm still crossing my fingers that Belichick finally retires before he ends up beating Don Shula's record. That's just me. I don't know if it'll happen. I doubt it'll happen. But if it does happen, I'll be so happy because that means he has to go away. But
he's in it, right? Belichick's in it right now to beat that Shula record. What's he got? 23 wins that he needs? 24? Something like that?
Right, but if the Patriots suck...
if the Patriots stay like this, it's going to take him a few years, but I think he's going to try and hang around for it. I think moves like you saw last night, like one quarter, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna put in the other guy again. That's him.
That is.
Let me find a way to just.
He played it off like that was the plan.
Because the quicker I
that was totally the plan. Yeah.
In reality, I really wanted to ask that specific question when it comes to the Patriots, but I also feel like the Jets quarterback. Listen, like. They're winning games. Yes, they're winning games on the road.
Oh, and by the way, Manny, they want so badly to be. The media wants so badly to be able to say that
Jets Twitter is at an all-time high. I don't think I've seen Jets Twitter this high since probably 2010, and Twitter wasn't even involved. It wasn't even happening then.
I'm not even talking about Twitter, Manny. I'm talking about just like you go on NFL Network and ESPN. They want so badly for Zach Wilson to be the next superstar quarterback of the AFC East. They want it so bad you can taste it. But it's just like, how about you actually pay attention to the dude that you spent all season talking crap about? Just throwing that out there. All right. Let's go ahead and we'll finish up with our usual game here with the Detroit Lions here. So obviously Detroit Lions, they are not doing a particularly good job so far this season. I know that their offense was pretty good. Their defense was abysmal beyond all recognition. They are currently, let me see here. They have played how many games? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm just trying to see because I want to make sure I have it correct. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so they're 1-5. So they're 1-5 right now. So they are 1-5 currently on the season. That one win that they had came actually against the Washington Commanders. I'm never going to get over that name. I've just call them Washington at this point, the Commanders. So they only won against the Commanders, which is not all that impressive. Taylor Heineke, okay, big friggin' hairy deal over there in Washington. So with that all being said, let's go ahead and do what's going to be the underrated, overrated player for the Dolphins, and then we'll actually get into the game predictions here. So, Ron, you go first. You can pick the list in whatever order you want. I'll follow along.
Okay, I'll go MVP Hill. I think he has like an all-world type game. Oh, sorry, guys. That's my phone. I'm powerless to stop it. And I wish somebody would answer it. I forgot. I should have unplugged it. I'll just wait. We'll just.
Hello. Is this Bill Belichick? Yes. Please tank. We don't want you to catch the dog.
Thank you. Yeah. So Hill, I think he's gonna have like a really great game. He'll be my MVP. The guy who like steps up and brings it up is interesting. That's tough. If Ogba's back, I think he has a good game because he was out. And then So the player that kind of takes a step back a little bit, maybe Holland takes a step back.
Do you have any reasoning for that, or are you just throwing a name out there?
I just had to pick a guy that probably had a pretty good game, so I picked him.
Okay, fair enough. I mean, by that logic, you could say that Noah Igbenogany is going to take a step back.
Oh man, what was I thinking? Of course, that's the answer. Thank you. I guess that's your answer. That's the answer.
Yeah,
it's Noah Mahogany, whatever.
Noah Mahogany.
Iggy Mahogany. I don't know. Yeah, no. What? How do you say it? Igbenogany. God, can't even say it now. Oh man. Okay, go ahead.
Listen. Okay. So what I'll do, I'll go ahead and honestly, even if he is back, I'm gonna say that it's Emmanuel Ogbah that's actually going to be the overrated player. By the way, Alfredo mentioned Dede Westbrook working out, a wide receiver from Oklahoma.
Yeah, didn't he play for the Jaguars? I thought.
I believe so. Yes.
Yeah.
Let me just look him up real quick.
Like last year, even or the year before, I can't remember now.
Dede Westbrook. He is currently a free agent. He played for the Jaguars in 2020, caught only one pass, and in the Vikings,
crushed it. It was a great pass, though.
Yeah, in 2021, he played for the Vikings, 10 catches, 68 yards.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so he's not really good.
I mean, it's not that I don't know if he's not good. It's just maybe he hasn't had an opportunity. I don't know if he's had
I'm
like
confused.
Why
are we trying out receivers and connected with receivers?
Maybe they really are
really not getting it done. Like they're like kind of benching him.
Maybe they really are getting ready to move on from Cedric Wilson. I mean,
it kind of feels that way, right? Like, what's going on?
I mean, again, he doesn't do anything. He's the most expensive nothing burger in the whole roster.
Oh no, I get the moving of Wilson out, but it's just interesting that clearly they see a need, so you're trying to deduce. So, well, who is it that? What's changed? They still have Hill, they still have Waddle, they still have Sherfield, they still have Crockraft. They've been rolling with that this whole time. Why all of a sudden now they say, and Wilson hasn't been doing anything the whole time? Why now do they say, yeah, we need another receiver?
It's depth.
Because
Cedric depth, yeah. Because Cedric
Jerry
Wilson
Jeudy doesn't feel like if they did make that move, that doesn't feel like a real depth move. That's that's a bit more of a permanent Waddle. Yeah, that's true. That's true. So we gotta have another Bama guy to replace.
Yeah, another Bama guy, another safety blanket for Tua. Because you better believe he'll get it.
Hey, Julio Jones is out there, isn't he? No, no, that's right. He's with Tampa.
Yeah, I was about to say. All right. So my overrated player, honestly, I feel like is going to be Emmanuel Ogbah because, like the Detroit Lions, they seem to have a pretty solid group of guys over there on their offensive line. Taylor Decker is the left tackle. Penny Sewell at right tackle. So
that guy's sick.
He's solid. He is solid.
Yeah, they've made some nice picks. Like they've made some. Man, I hope they give Dan Campbell at least one more season. I know they're 1-5 and they've got their problems. I just feel like he needs one more season. I think he'll start to put it together.
Yeah,
he may not get that one season.
Yeah,
you know what? Detroit's notoriously patient with their coaches, though, so he'll get at least one more.
Yeah, so I feel like if anything, that Ogbah is not going to have a big game if he does come back. So, and by the way, that goes for his backup too. Whoever
he hasn't had a good game yet. I mean,
he had a great game against Buffalo.
He was.
Just that he hasn't had the number of sacks. Nobody's had the number of sacks we wanted. They've gotten pressure. They just can't seem to get home because you know why? Because the secondary is not doing its job. That's a Byron Jones thing. We'll get into we'll see where that goes in the future.
We'll get into that. The show's over. Yeah, it's too late to get into it.
We're not going to get into it tonight, but we're going to get into it eventually. The underrated player for me. Oh, Lord have mercy.
It's going to happen. I saw somebody else say something about that. Or Washington. Washington.
Sorry if I threw you guys off, but I thought that needed some type of laughter.
I mean, listen, Alf thinks that Mac Jones is going to be the backup to Tua again.
Wow,
that would be. Wouldn't that be something? Wouldn't that be something? It's like, welcome back, Mac. I missed you, buddy. And Mac's just like, yeah, I missed you too.
I would take Mac Jones as a backup.
Would Mac Jones take Mac Jones as a backup?
I like it.
Like, I can't believe I'm here again.
Tua was the career backup. He was the destined future career backup, and Mac Jones was a top 100 Pro Bowl player. Man, people got to really like tighten up their game.
Yeah,
stuff like that.
If Mac Jones made
NFL players that voted on that. NFL players don't even know that Mac Jones sucks.
They do now.
Come on, man.
They do now.
And he was Bama. But
I mean, listen, man. We're all, for the sake of argument, Blake Bortles was once on the top 100. Okay, Blake freaking Bortles.
UCF great, bro. He's a UCF
Blake
great.
Bortles, NFL Blake Bortles. I don't want to hear about UCF.
I was just at a UCF game. This kid Bowser, man, this running back, he looks pretty good. I need to ask some of these draft guys if they've watched him at all. It's a smaller school, obviously. So anyway, I didn't mean to get off.
No, it's fine. It's fine. My underrated player is going to be. You know what? Let's go ahead and say Christian Wilkins, simply because, again, he's always quietly there. Like, you always tell he's there because he makes plays, but it's never like the heralded player, you know? Like, they're keeping an eye on Melvin Ingram. They're keeping an eye on Jalen Phillips. Wilkins is almost like the forgotten man in that whole defense, which is weird because he is practically the anchor for that whole thing.
Yeah, we have to pay him next. He's our next, like,
he needs to get paid. Like, I swear, if they do not find a way to keep him here, I'm going to be so upset. If only for the fact that he's also a goblin who absolutely wrecks people's day.
Yeah, no, he's
wiping towels, pinching certain areas, getting unnecessary roughness penalties,
grabbing balls,
the wrong kind of balls.
Yeah, the wrong kind of balls.
So, I want Christian Wilkins around for a long, long time. So, seriously,
me too.
The Dolphins found ways to keep Tim Bowens around, keep Christian Wilkins around. Okay, seriously, right. I want to do that. My MVP of the game. I'm actually, you know what? You really want to know what? I think this is going to be the game that Raheem Mostert hits over 100 yards. I think that they're going to rely on Raheem Mostert a lot. I think it's going to be. I think this is the game where people start looking at Raheem Mostert like he's actually going to be someone. Okay, I really feel like that's going to be the case.
I almost picked him as my underwhelming, just to mess with you, though. That was no other reason. Yeah,
Alfredo
I think it could happen too.
I'm not sure what watch that means. Like, watch my mouth? Did I say something disrespectful? I don't think so. I don't know what he's saying. I don't even know why he would say watch that. Okay, maybe
he was saying like watch.
I don't understand the context of that comment. But before we go, I'll just quickly respond to Martina Davies asking why isn't Ezukama getting any time on the field. It's not that Cedric Wilson has been poor. It's just that the situation is that he's not getting the offense so far.
He just doesn't know the offense.
He doesn't understand it enough, and so thusly he's not getting to play. And right now the need isn't there. The need is not there at this current moment.
But we're trying out wide receivers, so that's where I'm confused. So it feels like the need is there. He's just not up to the game, but the need is there. Why? Who's hurt that we don't know about?
Alf says, "Watch the link that I post." I didn't see a link. Alf, is it in our personal comments or something like that? Is it in OnlyFans? Which, by the way,
is it in OnlyFans for $3?
$3. Yeah, exactly. There you go.
Chat,
for $3 a month, you can chat with Alfredo and me and Ron and all those other people who are important on Dolphins Twitter.
Simon Clancy.
There you go.
If you like him, some people don't. Some people do. You got CK in there. And Chris Kaufman and Alf, of course.
Yeah, they're the main star. Maybe that's where the link is that he's talking about.
I'm the hall monitor.
It's not in our chat here.
I'm the hall monitor that puts you in timeouts if you get too crazy. See, don't you wish people? So if you want a place like Twitter where somebody like me can just put people in timeout for getting out of line, go to OnlyFans. Exactly. Plus, you see stuff in there that we can't talk about. Trust me, lots of great info.
Yeah, exactly. All right.
That's what's worth the $3 more than anything.
Exactly.
Honestly, is the stuff we get to see.
All right. So the link in question explains why they worked out D.D. Westbrook. Alf mentioned that he's a good punt returner, so maybe that's the reason why. So in any case, maybe we need another Jakeem Grant. Is Jakeem Grant poor guy?
Again, we've been using Holland, not Hurt, and Cedric Wilson at punt returner. So again, I asked, that's just more signs that maybe they're getting ready to ship off Cedric Wilson. So they're trying to find a receiver who's also a punt returner. Well, who's been the only receiver? Or maybe they're just looking for a punt returner
who happens to be a receiver.
Yeah, it's either way. I don't know.
All right, so let's do the prediction. What do you think happens on Sunday, Ron?
We play the Lions in Detroit.
That is true, but what else happens?
Oh, on Sunday. Well, what do you mean? What else happens?
Look into your crystal ball, like channel your inner Giselle.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Oh, you thought that was done? I was just setting it up.
Okay, you're setting it up.
I say we win 34-23.
You think the offense comes back roaring that strong?
Yeah, I think they get it figured out. They get those few little bugs worked out and have a really good game.
Okay. Well,
see what Ron's not telling you is that they're gonna have like a pick six or some type of defensive touchdown. That's the part that Ron's not.
You know what? We've been
predicting pick sixes.
We have been predicting a defensive touchdown for the past 3 weeks now, and we haven't
had one yet. We like tripled our picks in the last game. We haven't got. It's so crazy. We haven't gotten to the quarterback hardly at all. Even though we blitz almost more than anybody.
We pressured them. We just
can't
get
pressure, but we don't get there. And we have barely gotten any turnovers, and we hadn't gotten any defensive touchdowns. It's interesting. It's just an interesting year.
I mean, but based on last year's logic, that would mean that the Dolphins should be like 2-6.
Yeah, and the year before too is especially 2020 is when we've got a ton of picks, and we had we were number 1 in the NFL. It's like even last year they came down to reality a little bit for the picks, and then this year it's just been. I mean, except against. Pickett
again, the lack of.
Byron Jones. Come on, dude! Like, how can you have a quarterback named Pickett? Like, that's just probably maybe that's why every time he throws the ball, he's Pickett. Yeah, I wouldn't want that name for a quarterback because that's all he did last week.
Alf mentioned that the Dolphins had a defensive touchdown on week 1. Yeah, that was like that was a long time ago.
That's right, Ingram.
I remember.
Ingram.
Yeah, I remember that touchdown too. It's not like it didn't happen. It's just that we haven't had one in a very long time. There was a string there where the Dolphins were scoring defensive touchdowns like every single week.
Yeah,
like that is not the
only
case
reason we won games with Brian Flores.
Yeah, many times.
Offense.
A lot of the times that's what it was. So I'll go ahead and do my prediction. I'm not quite as gung-ho about it as you. I'm going to say that the Dolphins score maybe 24 points this game. But as far as the Lions go, I'm not concerned about them. I'm going to say they score maybe 13 at most.
24-13 feels like almost like another 20, like 16.
Again, Jared Goff, bro. Listen, the only way that Jared Goff does any points is if Noah Igbenogany goes back to being terrible Noah Igbenogany completely, and somehow he gets paired up with Amon St. Brown or something along those lines.
Doesn't it make you nervous relying on him though?
I don't want to rely on him. That's just it. But it's like,
but we have to. I mean, what choice do we have?
Is when do we get Kader Kohu back? That'd be nice.
I think he's supposed to be back.
So there you go. Kader Kohu. Boom. We don't need Noah Igbenogany anymore. It's like, thank you for saving the game for us last week. Goodbye.
Yeah, but we shouldn't. Yeah, I mean, we should give him his props. And it actually was an athletic move. Getting his feet down was like an athletic move. It's not usually
that's his inner wide. That's his wide receiver talking.
That was the wide receiver skills right there. Getting the feet down. It was a great play.
Yeah, it was a great play
for him. The guy's been
great play. Man. Congratulations! You're going to be known for a very long time just for that. Goodbye. Not interested.
Hey, remember when we had Michael Thomas? He was a good defense. He was a good special teams
Michael
player.
Thomas could play.
He was a good special teams player, but he was known for one play, right? That pick of Brady.
That's what put him on the map, but he wasn't terrible the rest of the time.
No, he wasn't, but that's true. Okay, you're fair. Very fair. Very fair.
It's like, damn.
Iggy has been.
You're disrespecting Michael Thomas like that, bro.
Yeah.
All right. That's going to be it for us. So Martinez sees a nail biter against the Lions. I don't know.
Ooh, I hope not. Martina.
Only if the defense falls to pieces, man. Only if the defense falls to pieces, really.
Yeah.
Because again, Jared Goff does not scare me.
Here's our producer saying, "Wrap it up."
Yes, wrap it up.
Talk about
PrizePicks. Talk about PrizePicks. Okay, here we go. You wanted me to talk about PrizePicks? Let me talk about PrizePicks. Whatever the over is on Tua's yardage on Sunday, go ahead and pick that. I guarantee you're going to win that one. Pick the over on the receptions for Tyreek Hill. He's going to go over that one as well. I almost guarantee you that. Maybe you can go over, let's see, can you go over yardage on TJ Hawkinson? Maybe that would be helpful for you for the Detroit Lions, because I think Hawkinson will get some good yards. Let's see. I don't know. I'm trying to think what else. Well, whatever. You can figure it out for yourselves, or if you'd like to, we do have a PrizePicks show that happens every single week. You can follow along with them. They actually pretty much know what they're doing. Go ahead and go to PrizePicks.com, and you can go ahead and get up to $100 match on your initial deposit when you sign up using that promo code. I guarantee you're going to have a lot of fun doing it. You're going to be able to get yourself some good wins. They give you freebie offers all the time when you sign up. I get a whole bunch of offers all the time. They have Taco Tuesday. They have Flex Friday. They have all sorts of things to bring you back, and then you're able to get some more wins because they find ways to make it easier for you and make ways for you to get some wins. Go to PrizePicks.com and use the promo code 5, that's FIVE. They will match up to $100 on your initial deposit, and you are not required to do any rollovers. You just put in the money and they spit it back out at you. All right. With all that being said and done, thank you everybody for joining us for this show. We actually managed to shorten it for about 20 minutes, so huzzah for that. That's our programming reminders. Every weekly we do have our show. Final Yard comes after post-game show. 5 on the Floor post-game shows are now coming back to the 5 Reasons Sports Network. So if you're a Miami Heat fan, make sure you are checking that out. Brady Hawk is an elite reporter already, as far as I'm concerned. It will not be long before we see him on ESPN doing whatever he does. All right. Once again, thank you all so much for joining us, and we will see you all next week for another episode of the Pulse of Fins Nation.